it's Kelly with the Cottleville Fire District. We're here for another Firefighter Friday. I'm here with Firefighter Ryan Haake, and we are going to talk to him about his experience here at the district. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan.
As she said, my name is Ryan Haake. I've coming up on 7 years as a firefighter. I've spent most of my time at Station 1 where our ladder truck is, so I've kind of got lots of experiences with that piece of equipment. I love being a fireman. There's lots of different aspects to it that I'm sure we'll get into with some more questions, so I'll be happy to answer those.
Great. So you told us that you're here at Station 1. Have you always been at Station 1?
I actually started at Station 3, which is at 94 and 40. We kind of start new guys at outlying stations just because there's a lot more that goes on out here, so they get some more time to train out there and kind of just hang out with that crew a little bit more, and they get a better time to train them. So I moved up here about after I was there for about 2 years, and I've been up here ever since.
Okay, great. And what's your position? What do you do?
So my title is a firefighter. So I currently ride backwards. I'm riding in the back. I can drive some days, and I'm also an acting captain. So if our captain's gone, at some point in the totem pole, sometimes I get an opportunity to be an acting captain. So that's kind of my newest adventure right now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, but it comes with a lot of pressure. So I'm trying to navigate that the best I can.
Okay. We talked to a lot of these firefighters and want to understand their story. Where did they come from? Why did they join the fire service? So tell us your journey into the fire service.
Yeah, so my journey was a long one. I think like some people's. Was in high school, felt a ton of pressure to figure out what I wanted to be when I grow up. A lot of my friends went off to universities, and I just never felt like that was the right path for me. So I kind of struggled with that decision for a little bit. I stayed at home, went to community college for a year, was feeling the pressure of like not having that career choice decided. But I knew that I never wanted to work like a 9 to 5, and I knew that I wanted to work with my hands, and I wanted some kind of excitement in my job. So through those talks, I remember being at, I think it was one of the holidays at my aunt's house, and was talking to my mom and all my aunts and uncles, and they reminded me that my mom had uncles that worked for St. Louis City and how much they loved the job and all the good things that they got to experience throughout their careers. So that really started to get my mind started on maybe that's something I would enjoy. So I started kind of researching what it takes. And at that time, I actually lived Fire Station 4 off Towers Road. So then I started driving by the fire station all the time. I'd see the guys outside washing the trucks. So that really kind of started me down the path of being a fireman. So I went to EMT school. I went through paramedic school. I worked as a paramedic for about 2 years. I volunteered at another fire department. And then I eventually was a ride-along here for about 3 years before I was hired. So like I mentioned, my journey was long, but that's one of the things that I'm most proud of about being a fireman is the dedication I had and the commitment I had to putting in a lot of time to earn this job. And I'm very proud to work here at Cottleville.
All right, so you had mentioned about being on for 48 hours. So we know our firefighters are on for 48, off for 96. You know, to some people that might sound, oh great, 96 hours off, but those 48 hours that you're on, tell us what those 48 hours look like and why it's so important to have 96 hours off.
Yeah, so the 48 hours it can be anything from you're running all day and night. It could be PR events. It could be all sorts of things that we come across as firemen. But there could also be days where, the calls just aren't as busy, so we find things to do. We work out, we keep the stations and the apparatuses cleaned and well maintained. The best we can. But for like example, last night I worked, and from 2 to 3:30 we ran 3 different calls. So I got maybe 4 hours of sleep, which I'm used to. That doesn't bother me. But to some people that doesn't happen too often. That would affect their next day. But a lot of us are used to it. But some of that lack of sleep takes a toll on us later in life. Yeah. So us we call it 48-96, 2 days on, 4 days off. So the 4 days off, it allows other crews to come in, protect the community, but it gives us time off to kind of decompress and go home to our families and have that time off. So yeah. The schedule works great for most people.
Absolutely. And like you said, 48 hours on, Most people work a 40-hour week. You're working 48 hours in 2 days. And like you said, you could be getting calls all evening long. And we know it takes skill to be a firefighter. So you spend a lot of the day training.
Yes.
And you might train all day, take calls, come back and train. And at the end of that day, what most people at 5 o'clock would go home from work, that's not the case for you guys. Yeah. So you are doing things, you're away from your family for 48 hours. How does that affect your family life when you're gone for 48 hours?
Yeah, and it has the potential to take a toll on your family, but I think the most important thing is you gotta have a really strong support system at home. Sam takes fantastic care of my kids, and I'll always have appreciation for that. Our family would not be put together without the support system I have at home, so she does a wonderful job at that. Grandparents help out a lot, but the biggest thing for me that I say it often, but I'm probably, as a father, one of my most proud things is that I had so much to do with my kids growing up, because I had 4 days off in a row, and she would go to work, and I would stay at home with little kids, and I would feed them, and I would watch Sesame Street, and I know all these kids shows, Paw Patrol, and all those such things. So everybody's family situation is different, but I look back and I had a lot to do with my kids growing up, and I feel extremely close to my kids. And actually now, my 5-year-old daughter, 3-year-old son, they both say they want to be firemen. My son wears fire boots everywhere. So I look back and I remember I always wanted to be like my dad. So to see my son and my daughter want to be like me is a very proud thing that I'll never forget.